Recording. Go live. Go live. Hmm?
That's you.
That's me. I didn't get a notice. Tell me hi if you're here. Hey, Tanya. I see you. I'm gonna give it a second and let everybody get logged in. Checking on my channel to see if my YouTube is working. If anybody is out there on YouTube. There we go. Got a couple fun little projects we're going to make today. This will not take us an hour. So the first project we're going to make is this cute little notebook. Okay, open it up. Little notebook there. We're just going to decorate the front. So these notebooks are from the Dollar Tree. You can get them like this, and then they can also come in other colors. These ones are just white. They have 150 note sheets. They're 4x6, so creating this was super quick and super easy. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to set that aside. And I'm going to go ahead and just jump right in. So I've used the Rainbows, Sunshine and Rainbows paper. And I simply cut this to 4x6 inches. Hi, Kyle. Welcome aboard. And I'm just going to glue this right onto the front. Make sure you get, when you're gluing on a notebook, you want to make sure you put glue to the edges so that it seals all the way around. I just love the colors in this paper. So that is it. That is as simple as it gets for covering this notebook. Now it's basically, you can do anything you want with the rest of it. So then I have a little scallop circle, and this scallop rectangle is from the Color and Contours. And I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. And tonight we're using the Mischevious Mice. So I have the little mouse here. I'll go ahead and put him on a block. And we'll stamp him in some Memento ink. There we go. And then I have the little sentiment that says, just a quick note to say, but I'm going to change it up a little bit so that it will say just a quick note. And I'm just going to kind of line up the ink and not get it on the to say. And I got just a little bit there, so I'm going to take my finger and wipe it off. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that right on this white piece here. a little bit low, but still towards the top. So it's just a quick note. Oh, that's kind of crooked. We're going to try that again. Here we go. Hold that down. Perfect. Just a, well, that's still kind of a mess. Let me see. I'll just probably recut this paper. This was 1 7/8 by 3 1/4. And I'm just going to cut another piece of paper that size because I'm not going to stress over it. Because that was a mess, and well, it only takes a second to cut paper. I'm going to go ahead and set that aside, move my ink pad over. 3 1/4 by 1 7/8, and I'll just cut 2 just in case, since I have it all out and the measurements are fresh in my head. There we go. Try that one more time. Little ink on the 2. There we go. Got a little smudge there. Let's see if we can, sand eraser will take that right off. There we go. Just a quick note. All right, now I'm going to take my markers, and I have my markers here, and we're going to color the mouse in a little crumb cake, and I'm going to use my dark and my light crumb cake. Then I'm also going to use some light petal pink. All right, so I'm just going to take the dark because the mouse's tail is usually dark, and really I hate mice, but you know, I'll color them because we can make them oh so cute. Then I'm going to take my petal pink. I'm going to put a little bit in the ear, a little bit in the cheeks, and some in that ear. And then I want to add some just here at the bottom of his little belly. Now I will take the light crumb cake, and this is just some quick and dirty coloring, not a lot of shading. But he turns out just so cute. And then I'm going to take some light there at the bottom. Then I'm going to take my colorless blender, and I'm just going to swipe up from the bottom and kind of blend out that little line and fill that in. And that is coloring that whole mouse. Then I'm going to take a little bit of light gray granite, and I'm going to color the metal part of the pencil. And then I have some dark magenta madness, and I'll color the eraser. And then I'm going to take the dark daffodil delight to color my pencil. Isn't that just too cute? And then for the pencil lead, or the wood part, I'm just going to take that crumb cake and color it in. Just like that. I just think he's absolutely adorable. I'm going to take my scissors and fussy cut him out, because there are no dies for this set. But he's pretty easy to fussy cut. He doesn't take a lot of time. I don't know if you can hear the drumming in the background, but that is my husband who's playing the drums in the basement. So I guess you'll have to let me know if you can hear the drumming or not. Because if you can, I'm going to probably have to ask him not to be drumming while I'm doing videos. All right, so I'm going to take a couple dimensionals. And I'm going to, Tanya says no drumming. Okay, so only I'm annoyed. Well, I'm not really annoyed by it. I don't really care. I'm going to put this little guy there. And then I felt like he looked like he was kind of floating. So I took some of my gray granite and just scribbled some down there. And then I took my black gel pen and made it look like he was writing a little note. I don't know if you can see that in there, camera or not. Like it looks like he's kind of like writing a little note. So anyway, all right, so then I'll take some glue and we'll glue this piece flat on the pool party scallop. Again, that scallop rectangle comes from the Contour and Color die set. I used it last night as well. And then I'm going to take my ribbon. So pretty. This is the polished pink open weave ribbon. And I am going to tie a bow at the top. Now when I tied the bow earlier, I thought, oh, I'll just slide it up. It was a little bit, it wasn't super easy to move it up on those scallops. So this time I am putting it on the two scallop sides that I want it on, which is the second scallop from the top, and tying my bow that way. All right, so we have it tied. Let's fix it up a little so it doesn't look so sloppy. There we go. Take my good scissors and trim those edges off. And it's golden. And we'll just glue it right onto the front of our notepad. Add a little bling. And we will be done. So how cute would this be for a cute little gift to give for a friend at work, or, you know, just anybody. There we go. So, and we'll go ahead and we'll add some of these iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. And I'll grab my take your pick tool. Add a big one and a medium one and a little one. There we go. Let me know what y'all think. I think it is totally adorable. So there was the original and the one I just did. All right, so the next project I wanted to do, so two little gifts done and done, is this adorable little box. So last night I showed a box and you could purchase those sweet candy boxes, but this one, if you don't want to buy the sweet candy box, you can make your own. Opens up just like that. And it does open at the bottom too. So you could decide. And we use the Sunshine and Rainbows paper again with another little mouse from the set and some bling and a tiny little bow. So let me show you how to make this one. He is just too cute. Just makes me smile. All right. So here is my cardstock and all my pieces. So for the box, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make the box first, and then we'll come back and we'll do all the coloring. So this piece measures 8.5 by 6 5/8, and we're going to do some scoring on it. Yes, I know, Kyle, the bows are different because no two bows are the same, but it's okay. All right, so we're going to score this on the 6 5/8 side at 1/2, and I'm using my Stampin' Up! Trimmer. And so the trimmer has a dark blade and a light colored blade, and the light colored blade is for scoring. So I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to move it in to 1.5, and I'm going to score it again. And this is heavyweight craft cardstock, so I'm scoring it a couple times. Now I'm going to rotate my cardstock, and I'm going to, still on the 6 5/8 side, I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch and at 1.5 again. Okay. Now I'm going to rotate it to the 8.5 inch side, and I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch at 1.5 inches. At 4.5 inches and at 5.5 inches. All right, so there we go. So I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to burnish all of my score lines. Just like that. And we'll score it just like this. Okay. So we have all the score marks. So I'm going to take, and I have my 1/2 inch section here on the 6 5/8 inch side. And I'm going to go ahead and take my big scissors, and I'm going to cut this corner off, and I'm going to cut at an angle. So I cut up 2 score marks, and then I angle cut it. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Angle cut, and then trim that off. Okay, so those pieces are trash. Now with my 1/2 inch side on this side, I'm going to cut up to the second score line on all 3 score marks. Okay, just like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. On these little flaps, so I'm going to fold the big flaps up. On the little flaps, I'm going to cut at the score mark and angle cut both of those flaps, just like that. Okay, cut at the score mark and then angle cut. All right, so that part's done. Now I'm going to take, at the very far left, I'm going to cut this whole section off. There we go. So this piece looks just like that now. Okay, now I'm going to rotate it around, and I'm going to cut up to the second score line again on all 3 score marks. And just like I did on the last side, I'm going to cut the little score mark off and angle cut the 2 small tabs. Okay. And then I'll do that on the second one. And angle cut. Now instead of cutting this end piece off like we did on the other side, we're going to cut the middle big section off. So we have the big section here, we're going to cut this big section off so it's opposite. So I'm just going to cut right across that score mark, just like that. And now this is what your box looks like. Okay. All right, now I'm going to take my tear and tape and I am going to put it on this 1/2 inch side. And because I want this box to be super sturdy, I am going to do 2 lines of tear and tape. Okay, just like that. And take your pick tool and peel off the backing, and peel off the backing, just like that. So now I have my box. All right, so before I go any further, I want to round the corners on the top flaps and the bottom. Oh, look, my pencils are on the outside. I'll have to erase that. So stick that in my corner rounder. It's frozen, I'm sorry. Hopefully you're able to catch up. Hi, Patty, I see you. Patty, is it frozen on your end too? All right, before we glue this together, I'm at least going to erase that edge and this edge, because the rest of it I can cover up with my pattern paper. All right, so tuck that in, and if it's a little tight or doesn't quite fit, you might have to trim it down a little, because this is a pretty snug fit, but that worked out pretty well. And then this side goes in just like this. Okay, just like that. So there's your box. I have the writing on there, but I am going to glue my pattern paper right over the top of that. Oh, glad you made it back, Tanya. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and center that piece there. And so the stripes go this way, so that piece will go on the top. And then I will actually try. Well, I tried to match them up. They're not gonna match up very well. We're just gonna call it good. They matched up really well on my other box. So I'm just going to put glue on the back of that. And you can cover the back side of the box. I just am not going to on this box. So I have the pink at the top, so we'll make sure we have the pink at the top. Again, there we go. And then we will add a little glue to this piece. And so I have this darker Bermuda Bay. So I'm going to do the Bermuda Bay kind of like it was cut apart from that piece, even though it probably wasn't. All right, so there's the box. And it opens that way. So I have it opening that way. All right. Next we have this piece and the white circle, so I'm just going to cut. So this die cut is cut from the Hippo and Friends die cut set, and then just a standard circle. This circle measures about 1 5/8. and I glued it flat right onto my box, just like so. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do a little stamping now. Set the box aside. We have our mouse that we need to stamp and our little thank you. So first we're going to stamp our mouse, holding the very large balloon. And this stamp is so large that I'll just pat the ink pad onto the stamp. And we'll go ahead and press. There we go. How cute is that little mouse? All right, so we'll set this one aside. We'll stamp that in a second. And I have my markers here. We are still using crumb cake for the mouse, and the balloon is colored in Magenta Madness this time. So I'm going to start with the balloon. So I have the dark and the light. So I'm going to color my little, I like to give myself a line. Gives me a little leeway when I'm using the other side of the marker because the tip is a little bit bigger. And I'm less likely to go out of the lines if I have that little section of area that I can color into. Okay, so I use the dark Magenta Madness, and now I'm going to fill it in with the light Magenta Madness. And I'm going to go over that line a couple times between the dark and the light to kind of blend it together. There we are. So that's done. And now I'm going to take my light petal pink and I'm going to color his ears and his little cheek and a little bottom part of his belly. Then I will take the dark crumb cake and I will just trace his ugly little tail. He's cute when he's done, but a mouse's tail is still a mouse's tail, and I just feel like they're ugly. All right, so now I'm going to color the rest of him using the light crumb cake. I added a little bit at the bottom of his little belly. And color his ears. Then I'm going to take again the white blender or the colorless blender and just kind of blend that out. And isn't he the cutest little mouse now? All right, so I'm going to cut him out, but I'm going to start on this side because I find that when cutting the intricate sides, it's much easier to fussy cut if you have like lots of extra on the other side, on the opposite side of it, and then it's not as floppy. I don't know if that makes sense or not. It does in my brain. I just don't know how to get the words out. So I was really excited. Stampin' Up! Has been relatively slow in their shipping during the month of December. Like, they're never slow. And so it was really hard to be like, oh, they're going to take 10 business days to ship my order. Well, I placed in order this weekend, and then I placed another one this morning, and they all three shipped today, which means they will all 3 be here by Thursday. I am just so excited that the shipping is getting back to its normal quickness, because, you know, Stampin' Up! Has always been relatively quick, so I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm pretty excited because I ordered more new goodies from the catalog that I can demo this weekend on all these Facebook Lives if I can get an audience. And if I can't, you know, I understand people are busy. But I love that you take the time to go back and watch the video even if you missed it live. How are we doing on time? I don't even know how long we've been at this, but I really wanted to do this in 30 minutes. 2 projects in 30 minutes. And if I can't do 30 minutes, then maybe I'll just have to like limit myself to 1 project. All right, so there's the little mouse. So we're going to go ahead and glue him down. I got a little fingerprint on his belly, so I'm going to try and blend that out a little. Maybe it won't be so noticeable. It was a Magenta Madness thumbprint, I think. And he was glued flat as well. Right there in the middle. Then I took my embossing powder and we'll emboss that. And I'm going to do a little thanks on here with my Versamark ink and my white embossing powder. There we go. Oh, fussy cutting. Colleen, we're making a box because it's fun. It's crafty. It's creative. It's my thing. Let me grab my heat gun and we'll emboss. Now, Patty, I would agree that, you know, fussy cutting is not my favorite thing. And if I was making more than one, I would definitely probably use my scan and cut. However, it's just one, so I think I can suffer through that. All right, we're going to go ahead and snip this. That wasn't very straight. I think that's a little bit better. And I'm going to add a piece of a dimensional on the back of that. And then we're going to go ahead and stick that right up here on the box. A little thank you. Grab these beautiful iridescent rhinestones and we'll put one of each size. I think that's the size I already have. Let me grab a big one and a little one. And I also had a little one right over here next to the thanks. And then to finish this project off, I tied the littlest tiniest bow that I could. What's 30, Tanya? Am I at 30? I must be at 30 minutes. So we're going to finish this up and we're going to call it a night. And maybe I should just stick to one project instead of trying to do 2. Tell me your thoughts. Do you think 2 projects is too many? Do you lose interest? If I can keep it around 30 minutes. There we go. Add a little glue dot. And I'm going to add the little bow to the bottom of the balloon. And we are done. So there's the first project. There's the second project. I did add some Wink of Stella to the balloon. So we can go ahead and just add a little shimmer to the balloon and done. There we go. I don't know if you can see that. Probably can't see that shimmer in the camera, but there is our second project for tonight. I hope you enjoyed the video and you learned a lot and you're able to come back and recreate these projects possibly. I would love to hear your input. Feel free to check me out on YouTube at That's Incredible with a K for incredible. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful night.